Hey guys, I'm JD here from Dothan Nurseries, and I want to thank you for buying your tree or shrub from us. I know it's a little intimidating sometimes planting a tree or shrub, or maybe you've never done it before. I'm going to show you how to do it and show you how to have success. So let's do this. So the first thing we're going to do is dig the hole, and I'm going to show you a little trick I've learned over time to help you with that. So we're going to plant this emerald green arborvitae. The first thing I'm going to do is lean it over and pull it out of the pot. And sometimes if it's stuck in there a little bit, you can either cut the roots with pruners, or sometimes I kind of stomp on the pot, and that loosens the roots, and this thing will slide right out of there. So I've got my pot sitting here, and that's not just in my way, that's for a reason. So when I put this plant in the hole, that root ball is going to fill up a lot of this space. All this soil is not going to be able to go back in there. So that's why I've got my pot right here. So these first few scoops I get out of here, I'm going to put in that pot. So all right, so the next thing you're going to want to do is add fertilizer to this hole. And this is not just any fertilizer. If you purchased our 3-year warranty, you've got a bag of this compost, you've got this 1-year release fertilizer. We love this because you can put it out once a year, any time of year you want, and your plant's going to be fed all year long. The things that keep your plant happy and healthy is number one, water. Without water, it's going to die. But if it doesn't have fertilizer and good compost, it's going to become a dull color. If it's a blooming plant, it's not going to bloom as pretty. If it's a green evergreen like this, it's not going to be thick and green. So you definitely got to fertilize your plant with this 1-year release fertilizer once a year, any time of year. So I'm going to get a big handful and put in here. The good thing about this fertilizer is you're not going to burn the plant. The plant's going to be completely fine because this is a slow release and it lasts for a whole year, if I didn't mention that already. So 1-year fertilizer, and if you're not sure how much to put, check the side of the label and it'll tell you exactly how much to put in there. But the good news is you can't burn the plant. I could pour this whole thing in there and the plant would be completely fine because it's a slow release. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got some space around this plant right here, and I'm going to fill it in with this chicken compost. It does not smell like chicken compost. It smells like soil. It smells really good. It's fresh, clean, nice dirt. And we're going to put that in here. So you have two options. You can completely fill this hole in with this chicken compost, or you can do it half and half with the existing soil that was already there. I prefer to put straight chicken compost in there. It's going to be a lot happier, a lot healthier, and you're going to have to water a whole lot less. So now that I got my hole dug, I'm ready to put this plant and the root ball into the hole. So let me show you what you got to do here. I'm going to lean this plant over, and you'll see these roots. They've been in this pot, and they're kind of circling around and going up and down. They can't really grow through that plastic pot. So what you want to do to get those moving is you kind of want it to look like this right here. We're going to massage those roots all the way around. You don't have to be super nice with this. You don't have to be gentle. The plant will be fine. And see how those roots are? They're ready to grow and they're ready to move out. So the next thing we're going to do is sit this in the hole. And if you'll look right here, you can see this hole is slightly bigger than the plant. This is 3 to 6 inches is a good depth or a good width to have it a little bit bigger. The last thing you want to do is have it exactly the same size. We want to fill this back in with some good compost to give those roots some nutrients and to give them some room to grow. The next thing you want to do is you'll see here is the level of my soil right here, and here's the level of the root ball. The last thing you want is soil up to here or even up to here. That will not kill your plant quickly. That will kill your plant slowly over 5 years. It'll cause what is called crown rot. So let this root ball sit even with the soil or even 1 inch or 2 up. It's going to settle down and be fine. All right, so I'm going to put this compost in here. Again, if I can tell you anything to remember with planting a tree or shrub, don't worry. You don't have to be super gentle. You're not going to hurt the plant. It will be fine. So dump that compost in there, dump the fertilizer in there, break up that root ball really well, and you're going to have a happier and a healthier plant. So again, I'm smoothing this out around it, this compost right here. And you see the big thing is I can feel my root ball right here. If I put my fingers there and they went way down in the soil and I have the soil way up on this trunk, I've got a problem. But I can feel that root ball right there, and I push the soil away from it so it's not pushed up against that trunk, and I'm not going to get crown rot or root rot or anything with this plant. So the next thing we're going to talk about, you've got your plant planted, is watering. This is the one thing I see people do wrong more than anything, and nobody overwaters their plants. 99% of people underwater, and I'm going to show you how to water properly. Number one, do not count on your sprinkler system. Your sprinkler system will keep your grass alive when it's really hot, and that is it. It will not keep a plant like this or a rose bush or a boxwood or anything like that watered well when we get in the hot summer. So do not count on your sprinkler system. You need to have a drip system, which is a little tough, or you need to have a water hose, and that's what I'm going to show you what to do with this water hose right now. We're going to get this water hose, I call that on 10 or 20% right there, not all the way. Sit it at the base of the plant, and we're going to let it sit there for 10 or 15 minutes, and that's going to get the water really deep and all the way down to the bottom of those roots. If you turn it on full blast and leave it there for 30 seconds, most of the water is going to run off the top and it's not going to get down to the roots. So the goal is to sit it there at the base of the plant and let it water it deep. And this, you're not going to have to do this for the rest of this plant's life, but just for this first year. And when you water, March through October, we're going to water every other day unless it rains. The really main time you got to stay on that is July, August, and September. That's when most plants die because they do not get enough water. November through February, 1 to 2 times per week unless it rains. Watering when it's cold is not nearly as big a deal as watering when it's warm. Now, one of the last things we're going to do is put mulch around this plant. A lot of people use the word mulch. In Southeast Alabama, the mulch most people use is pine straw. So if you have a bag of mulch, that's fine, pine bark mulch, whatever, just pour it around it, level it out. If you're using pine straw, a lot of people want to know how to do that well and make it look good. The big thing to do is get that pine straw and don't grab a lot of it. Grab a smaller amount of it and grab a little bit in one hand and let it fall like snow, and just kind of shake it and let it fall like snow, and let it fall like snow. And usually in a spot like this, we would be landscaping and pine strawing the whole bed. We're going to pine straw this as if we were just planting one plant and doing a round bed around it. So now that you've got your pine straw around it, you want to come down, get down here on the level with it, and you can kind of push it in from the sides, and you can see that nice edge starting to form around it. But this is how you make your pine straw look good. So now your plant is installed and done and ready to go. All you have to do is add water and you are good. And the last thing I'll say is we are here for you. Send us a text, send us an email, go to our social media and send us a message. If your plant doesn't look quite right or you're just worried, send us a message and we'll take a look at it and we will answer your question pretty quickly. We do it all the time. But that's how you plant a tree or shrub, and we'd love for you to come see us anytime. Thanks, and see you soon at Dothan Nurseries.